Hey, what's going on? It's Sean. Thanks for being here. Today I've got a doozy for you. Today I'm going to give you the truth about Nashville. I mean, the unvarnished truth, in my opinion. Having lived there for almost 5 years, I retired from playing music, other people's music, and I wanted to write music and see if I could get some cuts and see if I could have some kind of a career derived from my own personal musical creations. So I learned a lot of things while I was there in that almost 5 years. And so at the onset, in a nutshell, this is the truth about Nashville. Nashville is a big machine. You have to fit into that machine, or they have to make you fit into that machine. There's, at the time, and it seems to change a little bit as time goes on, but at the time, there was a certain type of artist they signed, and it was about 90% male, about 10% female. It was really difficult to get a record deal if you were a female. And there was a certain look. It was like a Luke Bryan, kind of tall, dorky country boy they were signing. In the early to mid 2000s, there were guys like Jake Owen and Luke Bryan, and there's a certain look. Now you've got your Tennessee whiskey guy, Chris Stapleton, who's fat. There's a couple other guys who were fatter. I don't know about the females. Honestly, I haven't followed anything Nashville in a long time, in about 5 or 6 years. I don't even know the artists that are out now. I just know who Chris Stapleton is because I know the Tennessee whiskey song was very big. So, getting back to it. There's a certain type of artist they sign, then that changes. It's really hard to get a record deal as a female. But the number two thing is that the people they sign are not the most talented people. They sign them because maybe they're a vessel. Maybe they'll sign any deal. I don't know, but if you listen to the singers on the radio, they're monotone for the most part. Female singers are usually pretty good. But they're not the best singers. They're definitely not the best writers. The first thing they do is they find these artists, they sign these artists, and they put them in rooms with all the great artists, producers, and people like that are in their 40s and older. These are just kids. So if you listen to the radio, you can tell that they are not the best singers in the world. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up wanting to be and looking up to the best singers, the best writers, the best artists. I mean, all three aren't necessarily always coalesced in one unit. Bob Dylan, although he was younger, when he was younger, he was actually a great singer if you listen to him play acoustic and sing, but he wasn't a great singer, although I believe that he actually was. He was stylistically changing his voice into something for a certain reason. But, the Beatles were great singers, man. Great writers, and in their day, for the music they played, great players. Not the case in Nashville. Some of these singers they signed, hard to love, and just, maybe he was song, it made me want to roll my window down and cruise. It's just monotone shit. And there's dudes in that town who could sing their ass off. Chris Stapleton was there apparently when I was there, but I never heard of him. He wasn't around the row or anything like that. He was probably doing something else, developing. So they don't sign the best writers. They definitely don't sign the best singers. They also don't sign the best looking people, but usually the best looking people eventually do get a deal if they can do something. There's a couple people that I met when I was there and I heard sing and play that just, will literally bring you to tears level singing, and the playing will just, your eyes will pop out of your head, and they never got anywhere. The best female singer that I saw when I was there, seen play, met her. I wanted to do anything I could to try to get her a deal, but I had no juice, of course. Her name was Marsha Hancock, and she eventually just got into a corporate band and eventually just started a family. And that's an all too common story in Nashville. And I never heard a female singer better than her. She was up there with the greatest singers ever. Couldn't get a deal. Don't know why. There was another guy, when I first got there, I got introduced to this really hot guitar player, and a friend of my neighbor's who got me my first single song publishing deal. I'm not going to name any names. Well, I will name. It doesn't matter. He was playing guitar for some new artist at the time, and they were doing a show. I think it was at Losers. So if you've ever gone to Nashville, you know there's Winners and Losers, these bars owned by the same guy. It's pretty funny. And they had an outdoor concert, and they were recording the whole thing, and there was a big crew out there. I was like, what the heck is going on? I never even heard of this guy. And the guitar player, whose name's Terry Lee, who I had a writer's appointment to write with, was a great player, an insane high tenor vocalist, a great writer. Played for other bigger artists named Mark Chestnut and some other guys coming up, but just a little short dude, kind of stocky, never could get a deal on his own. The record, but they hired him to back this new country, or this new artist from California they had signed, and they were booking him all over the place, developing him. And Terry Lee's like, yeah, they give us a van, they give us a trailer, they put me in nice hotels every night, and they pay me really well. I'm like, all right, so we watched the show from the side, and this guy sucked. He had that typical Luke Bryan, tall, dorky country boy thing, but he had a fake accent. Come to find out, he was from California. His name's John Party. He was the worst player, the worst singer in the band. And this was like in my first month or two in Nashville. And that was the recurring theme. The guy they signed was the worst player, the worst singer, and they just put players behind him that made him sound world class. Astonishing to me, who came up listening to great, singers like Steve Perry and Sam Cooke, and great writers like Joni Mitchell and Bob Seger and the Eagles and the Beatles. It doesn't matter. Eddie Van Halen and Steve Lukather were the two top young guitar slingers in LA when they were coming up, and they both went on to do great things. Obviously, it wasn't just some crappy guitar player that looked like a Calvin Klein model that they put a great band behind and put forth. That's what Nashville does for the most part. If you sneak through and you're fat like Chris Stapleton, but you have that voice, that's the crazy rare exception, not the rule. It's a machine. They fill slots in the machine, and they fill it in with great players and great songs that are part of the machine. I've already told the story of my awakening about my songwriting, which was heavily influenced by, my influences. I try to do challenging melodies, challenging courses, not make it boring. First thing the publisher told me was that I have to dumb it down, got to write in a box, way less chords, way less complicated chords, less variation in the melody, because the singers that they signed only sing in a certain range. Astonishing, I couldn't believe it. I spent the rest of my years there trying to get to the point where I could write in that box and be satisfied with my song. And also, you started to see the influence of hip hop cadence. So you got a monotone voice, Yeah, that kind of thing going on. That sounds like a nursery rhyme lyric in a melody that's, a half an octave with hip hop drums underneath. I mean, I was just pulling my hair out at how it was nursery. My kids were little at the time. They thought the music was nursery rhymes. Okay? So they don't sign the best singers. They don't sign the best singers, songwriters, writers. They certainly don't sign the best singers. I mean, they certainly don't sign the best players. The people that usually are the signed ones are not the greatest players. You know, I mean, there's exceptions like Brad Paisley and you know, back in the day, Glenn Campbell, and, you know, I mean, there's exceptions. But the rule is Nashville is a big conveyor belt. It is a system, and you will fit into that system. You will be a cog in that system, and you'll basically do what we tell you. And then, I mean, look, listen, I like the guy. I like the music. But Jason Aldean, he can't sing. Certainly that blonde guy with the curly hair, I don't know what his name is. I'm getting drunk on a plane. That guy cannot sing at all. I mean, it's just, I can go on and on and on. For every Keith Urban who can sing his butt off and bust his butt there for years, there's people like that they sign. I think it's less forgiving with the females. They kind of have to sing a little bit more. So anyway, Nashville can be very frustrating. If you love music, you love songwriting, you love the art of it, if you just want to go there and try to make money, the commerce side of it, and you don't care, you just want to try to write that way, try to fit in that way, you know, a new class of recruits in Nashville every week shows up. So try your hand at it. But the truth is, like the old Hollywood system, it is a system, and you're either going to compromise your integrity to fit into that system, or you're lucky enough to be so good looking and so charismatic, like some of the people they discovered in Hollywood back in the day, that they can mold you into fitting in their system, or somehow you snuck through like a Chris Stapleton after years and years of being there and busting ass. But there's a tremendous luck factor when in Nashville. On the player side, if you just want to be a backup player or do studio stuff, it's not quite luck. You got to be able to play. You also got to be a cool hang. People have to like you and stuff. But all the really good players that I knew that were trying to do playing type careers and gigs and studio careers, they actually all achieved it. They were good people. They were great players. There was just no denying it. So they were able to have some modicum of career. So take that for what it's worth. That's the truth about Nashville. That's the unvarnished truth. It's a system, and it's not based on talent and skill, because they have that in spades. They have an abundance of that they can put around you and mold you with. It's more like a farm system for a Major League Baseball team, or the old Hollywood system where they signed you and sent you to finishing school, sent you to acting school, fixed your nose, you know, made you lose weight, gave whatever it is. You know, that's what Nashville is. It's really kind of fake, to be honest. And most of these people singing have fake put-on country accents too. All right, I'm not trying to be a buzzkill. I'm not trying to be a killjoy. I'm just giving you the truth about Nashville. So, buyer beware, and your mileage may vary. And if you're going to go there, good luck. I'd go there again, by the way, if I were young. See ya. Please like and subscribe. Hope you got some value out of this. Pass it on. And be sure to comment below, because I'd like to know your experience. Not your opinion based on no experience, but I would like to know if you have some experience in Nashville, or with Nashville, or have lived in Nashville, or lived in Nashville. I'd like to hear the truth from you too. All right? Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.